7th time in 7 days. On the front row with Remy Gardner and Marco Bezzecchi. Ralph Fernandez, the impressive rookie, his best qualifying in his fledgling Moto2 career. Antonio, Roberts and Canet on a high-quality row. Reynas, Buliger, Bobier and Benschneider, all the Bs on row 5 ahead of Schrotter, Navarro. Hay leads row 7 ahead of Tony Arbolino and the experienced Tom Luthi. Then Yardi Montella, Sonkiat Jantra, a former winner here in Qatar. Hector Gartho and Hafiz Shairin go from row 9, and Tommaso Marcon into
warm-up lap begins here for Moto2. 20 laps coming up of this 5 points. There are the two Americans, Joe Roberts and Cameron Biobiet, just behind them. Marcel, 2-year-old, he gave up quite a few podium opportunities last year, but he started this season off very well. Just looks like
I've never seen Fabio Di Gianantonio have back-to-back podiums in the Moto2 World Championship. Can he do so for the Aragon? He's going to have his work cut out to get ahead of the likes of Bezzecchi, Gardner and Lowe's on the front row. It hasn't
really has worked on that over the last couple of years. Starts of races used to be such an Achilles heel for number 20 points because everyone's playing catch-up.
Yeah, last weekend the 30-year-old Briton facing the chasing pack. Who can stop Sam? Sam Lowe's. A win tonight would make a races since another British icon and legend, Mike Hailwood, way back in 9.
For Sam, he keeps an eye on the rest of the pack. Of course, he won't want to arrive on the grid too much.
The key of this race will be the last 7 laps. Time management is going to be absolutely pivotal, as it always is. Fabio, he's got big expectations of fighting for the win in round 2 in the MotoGP World Championship after a winning start. Proper bromance going on there, isn't there?
So they make their way onto the grid, just testing the brakes. 37 lining up second, and Bezzecchi looking to get himself on the podium for the first time in 2021, rounding away onto the grid. There is Bez. He's ready to go, we're ready to go. It's out in Moto2. Good start from Sam Lowe's, and even better start from the heavy Remy. Come on, Remy Gardner then goes to 4th. That looks like Ralph Fernandez going wide, really wide. Bezzecchi leads.
Yeah,
really good start for Augusto Fernandez. He's got himself already up into the top 5. There he is ahead of Ayagura.
5th to 10th in Sector 1 for the Petronas Sprinter Racing man.
On board with their Bezzecchi leading from through the first few corners already. Thought about a move there, didn't he? Sam Lowe's on Bezzecchi, further back.
End of that Boscoscura chassis, some radical setup change. The gamble pre-race just did not work out from at all. He couldn't be.
Gardner will be really happy, Matt, that he's got away inside the top 3.
Yeah, Canet, brilliant. All
Canet once more up the inside. Di Gianantonio just behind them. Behind him is Sam Lowe's now trying to challenge for the lead.
Canet's getting quite busy because he knows that already that top 4 are starting the 2 Red Bull KTMs of Gardner and Fernandez.
In 3rd, Gardner ahead of his teammate Ralph Fernandez, who's got the slipstream here, and Ralph Fernandez might just be up into 3rd.
Yeah, good job that there then by Ralph Fernandez. Yeah, good for
Fernandez. They've exchanged places a few times now already.
Yeah, the problem is, while they're not allowing.
Further down, Dixon then lost 5 places. Buliger also not a good start.
Yeah, and in Moto2, when everything's so closely matched, it's so hard.
This weekend, last weekend, and pre-season testing, his front end on the opening few laps here just looked a tad twitchy. An awful lot about in terms of race trim, just behind him. Great start though for this race.
On this lap, he's been picked off by Ayagura and Joe Roberts, so he's back down in 8th place now, the podium man from last Sunday.
Here. Doesn't want to lose touch of Marco Bezzecchi. He's not put a foot wrong since the lights went out.
Yeah, and you can see there in the back to pull a bit of a gap back to Ayagura. Augusto Fernandez is going the wrong way too, isn't he, on the 37?
Bezzecchi. Sam Lowe's can't get close enough to him to attack. 2 laps completed in this Moto2 race.
Yeah, this quartet already a cut above the rest. All 4 of them in the 59s quite comfortably. Nobody's top 4. They're in a different league at the moment.
Still, that lap record stands from Tom Luthi a couple of years ago. Through turns 4, 5.
It was Di Gianantonio out of the seat, lost all of his momentum. Augusto Fernandez did not even have to work.
It's getting a bit tight. Ayagura is getting his gloves off. He goes through on Aaron Canet. Leads still. The 2 Red Bull KTM Iho machines are closing.
It's been a tough start for the Gianantonio. Pace of the likes of Roberts, Canet and Agura ahead of him.
Good ride early on from Ayagura in this race in 3rd. It's closing. Look at Sam Lowe's early on the power there again. A bit of a
pre-season that there were 3 big guns. Bezzecchi, Lowe's and Remy Gardner. Ralph Fernandez has been the surprise.
As they stood out, didn't they, on paper? Certainly in the early stages of this one, that's how it's going. Sam Lowe's then challenges one. Yes, he does, and he leads then. Now, this is the big question mark, Matt. Last week,
taking the lead there from Marco Bezzecchi, so time to maybe get the hammer down for Lowe's.
Yeah, from last week, what Sam Lowe's can do when he gets to the front. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Aussie challenge his teammate in a moment.
Bezzecchi, weren't they? Lowe's, Fernandez and Gardner, they all exchanged the fastest lap of this Grand Prix. The Jano
patient. He's got to find a way through on Ralph Fernandez. He's so close to him here. It's hard to overtake.
Fernandez, this time around, oh, it got loose. It got very loose.
How on earth he got that Stowe's getting away? That could have been carnage.
Yeah, by the time he got through on Fernandez last weekend, it was all too little too late. There was nothing.
Some serious skill, you know, to not end up hitting Marco Bezzecchi from Remy Gardner.
Yeah, and also not washing out your own.
Time has he lost? Not that much to Marco Bezzecchi, but already Sam Lowe's has put 3-4 tenths in. Across the line then for Sam Lowe's. We'll take a look at his lap time. A 59.4 for him, much fun. And likewise Fernandez because of that moment.
Yeah, a bit further down the order, shout out to Receh and Schrotter. Or particularly
initially got away well, but his weight then really cost him. A good start for Fernandez, but he's got the wide line backed elsewhere as they look to try and find any spare bet of Asphalt. Looking back from... There is Ralph Fernandez then, through on Remy Gardner. That was close. Really in trouble at the moment. He's in 16th place. There's 16 laps to go here. There's Remy Gardner in third, number 87. Now has number 72, Marco Bezzecchi.
Because you can see Sam Lowe's there. He's not really making any progress in checking out away from.
Lining this one up. He's going to go for the outside line, which might just give him the inside here, but there's no room at the in this race. You just get the feeling that Gardner's the only one that can hold a light to Sam Lowe of him.
Yeah, crucially last weekend, Bezzecchi just went out a bit of a rear grip late on, did he, in the slipstream. Perfect slips on through as well, so with the two-bike slipstream, Fernandez takes third for how much longer?
Teammates, excellent wingman work there from the rookie Ralph Fernandez, number 25.
Fantastic race at the performance of Ralph Fernandez. Agura's in 6th place at the moment, comfortably keeping Canet at bay. He's just on
the power. Sam Lowe's not looking as stable as he was a week ago. Struggling. Gaps 3 or 4 tenths. It's doable.
I think last week the gap was well over a second and a half by the time he tried and reduce that gap or put the pressure on to see if Lowe's would crack and make an error of his own.
Like he was being challenged there by Agura.
Yeah, I think Agura got him. No, it was close. It might not be.
He looks comfortable on a Moto2 bike as well, doesn't he, the rookie Agura? Up into the top 10, a good charge from the number 62.
Yeah, he's slowly building confidence on that Calex frame as well. As He's kind of run into a rather large brick wall and then's doing mid-2 flats again.
Another couple of rookies who are there again. Fantastic work from them.
Yeah, Agura on that last lap was 4 tenths quicker than Joe Roberts.
Who was prominent in the top 10 this time last week, but at the moment he's...
A bad start as well, apparently, Simon Crowfire saying he was witnessing keeping compromise his early charge too.
Here's your top 4 with 14 laps to go, exiting anything but easy again. On the exit of corners, Sam Lowe's not able to get the power down quite as...
Extremely windy and a lot hotter, obviously. And I'm sure in warm-up he was probably out there on quite a used tyre as well. So you can see plus here on his pit board, Remy Gardner, and it's not a situation he was in last weekend. So the pressure is on. The pressure
at the end of 2020 in Portimao, and you just had a feeling, didn't you? Oh dear, there's a big crash. Is that Joe Roberts? He's got... Yes.
Yeah, he is. Look at his face. That is a face of thunder. I mean, talk about livid. They might want to give him...
Remy Gardner in the slipstream of Sam Lowe's. Is there going to be a change here? He's not going to just struggling to stay in the pace of these guys.
Something happened between Roberts and Agura, I think, because Agura dropped behind. Well, was he just run out wide by Agura? It's hard to tell from that one.
Let's find out.
Yeah, we'll find out now.
Agura got sucked into that one to try and avoid the bike. That's rider error, unfortunately. And then
he was just at a PB lap on that last circuit, 59.400. He's not in that comfort zone. It's not hooking up like he wants to. And Remy Gardner just calculating now the moment of choice to pit.
Quite there. He's still doing a brilliant job to hold on to first place, but you just feel like it's a matter of time before Remy Gardner takes the lead.
The lap times are not as easy to come by as what they were at this very stage. He's having to work exceptionally hard to keep Bezzecchi just struggling to go with the pace of the 3 men ahead of him.
It's a brutal class, Moto2. Lorenzo Dalla Porta, who's only lapping 4-5 tenths slower than these guys out front, and yet there's no points on offer for the former Moto3 world.
Dinged respectively, they're having a right old ding-dong, the pair of them.
Raul Fernandez, that's clever, clever work. Bit of a game plan forming here. The two Aki Aiho riders in the red.
Thought Bezzecchi was being cut adrift of this battle. He fires in his best lap of the race, a 59.399. There's a big, big group behind our lead quartet.
Yeah, this is some battle, isn't it? And the Tony Arbolino that we saw in on the Liquimoli intact machine as Iagura there, lovely, up the inside of Aaron Canet 2 years ago, or from last year even. Xavi Vierge then in that group. Someone was just going. Bobier has just dropped down the time screens. I'm not sure if he went off circuit or not. Yeah, he has. I think Cameron Bobier.
Down and out. The pair of them in very strong point-scoring finishing places as well.
We mentioned this here in Qatar.
Yeah.
Just when you think you've got your setup dialed in and everything's perfect, the wind changes direction.
He said that's been a problem in trying to shorten that steep learning curve in Moto2. He said every time try and find consistency with your riding and certainly with your setup, because you're not sure whether it's a problem from your riding or a problem with. At the moment, he's made a pretty good fist of it this weekend.
This is the mammoth battle going out front, despite those wobbles a moment ago. Sam Lowes looks like he's just settled a bit. Joe Roberts is of doors going on here from Joe Roberts. Looked like he just exceeded track limits, and then as soon as he went off the curb,
and they're trying to contend with Iagura, who was piling the pressure on. Iagura did regroup actually and has got himself back.
Oh, he's regrouped. He's just put in his fastest lap of the race, a 59.2, which keeps Remy Gardner 3/10 quicker than Raul Fernandez. So intriguing stuff at the halfway point of this Moto2 race.
Canet, I wonder already on the Boscoscura, pushing as hard as he was in those first 2 or 3 laps, whether Canet couldn't get the bike stopped or turned. There was all kind of mammoth problems mounting throughout the Grand Prix last time out.
Pulled over to one side. Is that Marcon or is it Baldassari? 50 points out of a possible 50, but there's 10 laps gone, 10 to go. Still a long way left at the moment, almost 6 seconds.
Yeah, totally different league. The top 4 men are operating. Issue, a rare mechanical problem in the Triumph Engineer.
Hernandez, it's unbelievable how well he has adapted to Moto anymore, and we're 1.5 races into his career in this intermediate class. He looks so at home.
The tyres where the fuel load lightens. He's got, of course, a lot of data and knowledge gathered from last weekend, which is going to...
Fifth here is 21, Di Gianantonio on the podium last time out, being followed by the rookie Navarro. Speed up Boscoscura rider as Tony Arbolino thinks about a move on Aaron Canet. The points at the moment, the likes of Ben Snyder, Gartho, Dalla Porta. Reynas, experienced Swiss rider, he's down in 22nd ahead of Chantra and Bald
from a couple of years ago. Lowes again just managing that gap to Gardner back, well, about what, 0.3 of a second behind his teammate.
100% sure. We just saw there from 5th to 13th what happened to Dixon in this race. No through.
Yeah, and Canet says, well, anything you can do, I can do.
Down into pit lane with Simon. I believe you've got Joe Roberts with you.
I have. Joe.
Not the ideal situation here. Honestly, I got a pretty terrible start and lost. Yeah, it's really windy out there, and I just kind of came through that turn a little quicker, I guess, than before, and onto the curbs there. So, yeah, pretty not great.
To talk there, because, you know, in situations like that, it's easy to lose your head. Chin up, Joe.
And if you want to know what it means to these guys, you could just tell there, the tone of his voice, how devastated and how a very solid top 6 ride, poor start, and the wind is still a factor here. It's nowhere near as gusty.
It's hard to know at this stage whether Gardner's got a little bit left, whether he's just managing his tyres, whether he hasn't got the pace to run away from Sam Lowes, because he would have already made the move on him. But there's still maybe to go. It was 7 laps to go pre-race, as Sam Lowes said that's the key moment of this Grand Prix. That's going to be to claim a scalp here as well. He knows that he's fighting Sam Lowes for this World Championship. There's a lot of pride. Some observation regarding tyres?
No, not at all, guys. I was just whispering in your ears, Steve, that everyone is on the same rubber.
Turn 2, the scourge of so many riders here as the temperature drops. Jumping on the left-hand side, that Hundreds of crashes around this Lusail International Circuit at turn 2. To be fair, he was nowhere near the point scoring. Mature and bitterly disappointing end for Tom Luton. It's a rather forlorn walk away.
Yeah, it come down on this lap.
Yeah, and again, I kind of ruled Marco Bezzecchi out of this race once before the break there. He was down. That's a horrible crash. He's almost gone to the fence there, Tom Luton. Numerous barrel rolls. That's going
to go. He puts in his fastest lap. Fantastic stuff from Sam Lowes. Remy Gardner was only a tenth slower. Asking questions.
Bezzecchi's not going to want to finish one place off the podium yet again, but at the moment he's just...
Schrotter might have had a coming together because they did not go across the line.
No, their names are just plummeting.
I can see Schrotter, he looks like he's in some considerable pain, and Jake Dixon there you can just see on the floor as well. Jake Dixon, of course, could do without any further injury.
Yeah, of course.
Either way, it's the end of the Grand Prix for both. Not sure what happened there, but they definitely came together.
Sam Lowe bikes behind him. 4/10 of a second clear is Lowes. That's the biggest that gap's been between.
Petronas sprinter hopes then rest on the shoulders there of Xavi Vierge. Stefano Manzi, though, is now up into a great ride for the VR46 Academy man.
Yeah, particularly when you look at his recent record, Steve, it's pretty... So, yeah, this has been an excellent ride for Manzi.
Bezzecchi then with 6 laps to go, who is just doing a quite brilliant job.
Yeah, Bezzecchi, unfortunately, just like it's going to be quite a lonely 4th place for the Italian. He's comfortably clear of Manzi, who's just picked off the best ever performance in World Championship racing. A couple of 4th places in the past for the 21-year-old.
Ralph fade. He's not fading right now.
So there is Manzi in 5th. Agura has also knowledge like gold for him in this battle. Also for the likes of Vietti and Arbolino.
All of these rookies that have stepped up from Moto2 are really, really class, aren't they? Manzi, there's 8 or 9 seconds up to Bezzecchi in a lonely 4th at the moment. This one's going all the way. Celestino Vietti moves up into 11th.
I like the way Vietti's gone about earning, pushing, gaining confidence, of course, bouncing ideas off Marco Bezzecchi as well. There's a lot of information in that Nyar in the past. And he's just doing exactly what's being asked of him here. Get yourself to the checkered flag, stay on board. He's just at the fastest lap of the race, Steve. He's been told to go, and he's going. 59.131. Oh, Aaron Canet, he was clearly unhappy with the performance of the Boscoscura chassis last weekend. That's not going to ruin.
The 2 Red Bull KTM Iho riders of Remy Gardner and Ralph Fernandez chasing down Sam Lowes.
Catches out Canet. He's had his problems with front tyre stability and braking throughout this. Up on him in that turn 16. Race over for Canet.
Through sector 1, it's the fast right-handers. Can he get on terms with Sam Lowes as they then make their way onto the start-finish straight? Get back-to-back wins here in Qatar.
Yes, he really is. Lowes, he's shown no signs of cracking at the moment. You just wonder how much risk Ralph Fernandez is going to be willing to take here, because he's not going to have to worry about Bezzecchi. Risk over reward ratio being tested here for Fernandez. Has he got matches and say, okay, yeah, 3rd place, that'll do for me?
Onto the start finish straight, he's definitely a lot closer again here, Remy Gardner.
Go any faster. That's a pair of 1:59.1s on successive laps for Remy Gardner. The problem
deep into turn 1, he's slightly wide into turn 2, but he can make up for that. No, he's got Remy Gardner breathing down his neck. He's riding very well under intense pressure. On board now.
Fernandez himself got back down to the 59.2s. He was just a fraction slower than Lowes.
Can anywhere. You can see him closing up here. Now this is the section of the circuit where Gardner can't really analyse.
Yeah, the jury's out on that one, isn't it? Now then Gardner, again, just...
Here we go. This is where he's got to try and find something. It's so fast through turns to make a move into the left-hander at turn 15. It doesn't look like he is on this lap, but Matt, I suppose...
Strengths and weaknesses of Sam Lowes are, because he's sat behind the Brit now for quite some time. So he knows exactly what Lowes' Calex is doing underneath him. So it's all just about picking the right...
Is Ralph Fernandez going to be able to hold on to the speed that has been upped here at the latter stages of 20?
Gardner can't do any more. He cannot do any more. That's 3 successive 59.1s and Sam 9.2s, and that's just keeping that gap around a 10th to 2 tenths.
It's an excellent batting
chance of taking the victory, and that's exactly what happened last weekend. Is history going to repeat itself here?
Clinging on desperately in 3rd there is Ralph Fernandez. I think you're right, Matt. He might have to wave the white flag at this one.
Absolutely brilliant. He comes into turn 10 now. This is where Gardner was able to close up on the brakes on the last lap. Not what he wanted. 4th place last weekend, mugged on the last lap by the Gian Antonio, doing 2-minute laps now, and he's dropped down to 10th, the Italian.
It's calm in the Elfmark VDS bottle. He cannot do anything else than what he's already done in this race. Has he got one last trick?
He's not buckled yet, he hasn't cracked. Sam Lowe's, every time he's come over the line over the last few laps, he's just seen.
With 2 laps remaining, that is class.
Now, has he taken this win, or the
Chandes there having one of his better rides? He's challenging still Iagura and Xavi Vierge for 6th place. Arbolino, but it's the battle at the front that we're interested in, and I think that Sam Lowe's might have just broken
the pair on that last lap. Sam Lowe's, boy, has he resisted some pressure tonight, because Remy Gardner has tried absolutely everything within his armoury.
Twitch there from the number 22. But he's still got a decent...
Well for Sam Lowe's, because last week he was able to manage that comfortable gap back to Remy Gardner. Tonight, keep him at arm's length, hasn't he, Sam Lowe's?
There's going to be an extra lunge coming from Remy, though, and you just want...
3rd place, I want that first Moto2 podium. These two can scrap it out for the win. I'm not going to do anything silly. And winding up towards the last lap, it's a Great Britain-Australia showdown. The Ashes on 2.
On the penultimate lap of the race.
What a lap time that is from Remy Gardner. The 3/10 he lost a little bit loose, wasn't he? Going through turn 2, that's the places he's being pushed to by.
Later, won't he? Just trying to cling on. Sector 2, Sam Lowe's is strong in. Sector 3 is where...
Get ahead of the line when you've got an identical engine underneath you.
Nobody giving an inch.
Is he going to be close enough, though? That's the problem. Coming to the phase of the circuit where
he's so strong.
Turn 10, that's where he's been able to take some time back on Sam Lowe's in the braking zone. Who's got turn number 11? We'll hit the fast rights then. Turns 12, 13 and 14. Gardner's running out of time here.
And closer. Where's the move coming? We come
15.
Around turn 14. It's turn 15. It's being lined up. Remy Gardner now.
Offensive line. Gardner, he can't find a way through. Now he's going to gamble on the slipstream. Sam Lowe's on and desperate to get on the power. He's not going to make it.
Back-to-back wins in Qatar for Sam Lowe's. A brilliant last lap from both Lowe's and Gardner, and that just shows you what you've got. Fernandez, his first ever podium in Moto2
World Championship, jousting it out for the victory on the final lap and exchanging fastest laps of the race. Wasn't he coming out the final corner? He just lost the traction as he squeezed on the throttle, and that top pressure throughout that Qatar Grand Prix. It was much harder, as he anticipated, than his win here of Sam Lowe's and the Elfmark VDS Racing team. 50 points up for grabs, and they've taken every single...
It's a fantastic effort. Both guys gave absolutely everything.
They threw it all. Sam Lowe's gets the congratulations from Tony Arbolino, who had a pretty good ride himself. 2 World Championship. Well, Gardner will be able to go to sleep tonight knowing that he could have done nothing more.
What a job. What a rider. This was the final lap then. This was the replay, Remy Gardner. And he had so much corner speed, I think he had to check himself a bit, because otherwise he'd have gone into the back of Sam. And in there, that was really something special between these two men. And at the moment, Matt, it looks like it's 2 men.
The way of Sam Lowe's, and the first rider in Moto2 history in, what, 12 years to take the first intermediate World Championship races since Mike Hailwood way back in 1966. Base team.
There you see Sam Lowe's, and that's great. By a good ride from both of his men. Not quite the win, but hey, Gardner and Fernandez on the podium, don't you?
Great effort.
Oh, yes. What I can say, of course, really happy that Remy didn't try too much to pass. For me, for Remy, 20 points in this track is quite difficult to pass, and after that to keep it. So for me, it was really good and good learning. Congratulations. Thank you, Simon.
Yeah, congratulations to Aki Ayo and the Red Bull K. So far has been all about one man, and he goes by the name of Sam Lowe's from Great Britain.
Quick mention to some of the other rookies.